Who is the most underrated actor in The Empire Strikes Back? Harrison Ford? No way. Billy D. Williams? I mean, he's good, but no. It's Peter Mayhew, who of course played Chewbacca. Without saying a word, Peter Mayhew made Chewie a household name. Mayhew, who died on April 30th in 2019 at the age of 74, did something remarkable with his portrayal of the Wookiee, and it's important that we talk about it and celebrate it. After all, since 1977, as a culture, we've let the Wookiee win, and win over our hearts. And I think it's something we've taken for granted. While the 7'3" Peter Mayhew had a handful of other small roles in his career, he mostly devoted his career to playing Chewbacca, not just in the original Star Wars trilogy, but he also donned the Wookiee costume made of yak and rabbit hair for an odd but fun variety of television performances, ranging from The Muppet Show to Glee. He also worked on Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and, most remarkably, worked through mobility issues to suit up one last time for Star Wars Episode 7. As his family stated upon his passing, he fought his way back from being wheelchair-bound to stand tall and portray Chewbacca once more in Star Wars The Force Awakens. The family statement continued saying, he also consulted on Star Wars The Last Jedi. Star Wars creator George Lucas first found his future Wookiee working as an orderly at King's College Hospital in London, where he had to duck to navigate the corridors of the radiology department. Star Wars urban legend has it that Lucas assured the novice actor that this role as a shaggy space smuggler would more or less require Mayhew to only, quote, stand up in costume on camera. Put these on you. And obviously, since you've seen the movies, Chewie had to do a lot more than just stand up or stand there. He had to be intimidating, he had to be funny, he had to be scared, he had to run, he had to fight, he had to communicate, which is a hard enough task for most actors that aren't encased in a head-to-toe costume. The only bit of Mayhew that could be seen was his eyes, which, along with his body language, were his only means of expression. But it's Mayhew's commitment to the character of Chewie from the get-go that's really special. Once he was cast, Mayhew set about researching his character by studying bears, monkeys, and gorillas in his local zoo, preparing to bring his character to life once he was encased in the yak hair costume. I think it's easy to write off Chewie as a goofy 7-foot-tall teddy bear with a unique growl. But he's not a big walking carpet. He's complex. He's a fully realized character, thanks in no small part to Mayhew's performances. There are two scenes, I think, that really fleshed out Chewbacca's character. The first of which happens when the Wookiee and R2-D2 are playing chess. Actually, holo chess, aboard the Millennium Falcon. After R2-D2 makes a strategic move, Chewbacca howls with defiant anger. C-3PO even says, screaming about it won't help you. Then we get this exchange, where we learn about the strength of Chewbacca.
I suggest a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win.
Seriously, is there anything in Star Wars A New Hope cooler than Chewie leaning back, putting his big hands behind his head in total confidence during that game of holo chess? It's iconic. Chewbacca persists in popular culture while so many other weird, unusual Star Wars aliens don't. Maybe it's because Peter Mayhew, his entire body hidden head to toe, was a truly gifted, brilliant performer. One who turned a walking carpet into a fully developed hero with a soul without using his voice or face. The second scene that really speaks to Mayhew's marvelous portrayal of Chewie and that makes him a dynamic character comes from the carbon freezing chamber scene in Empire. It's part of what is, maybe, the best scene in all of Star Wars. It's effective, blunt, brutally emotional, gorgeously shot, and so much of that is Chewbacca. His anger, fear, pain, it's all conveyed by this guy in the furry suit. The anger, the love, the sadness, the pain, They're all there. How Peter Mayhew did it all is a real marvel. You see the love and compassion in him. In this scene, the character in the room that knows Han the best, that loves Han the most, is the one whose gargled howls will be added in post-production, the one whose face you cannot fully see. So in order for the stakes to be sold, in order for the pain to be real, in order for this, arguably the most important scene in the whole movie to work, Peter Mayhew really had to sell it, and he does. I would argue, like so many others already have, that this scene in particular is why Chewbacca is omnipresent. It's this scene that elevates Chewie from an action figure to an icon, a fully realized character capable of swinging from rage to sorrow. The journey Chewie goes on is the most dynamic of any character in this scene. Audiences expect his rage-filled freakout, shoving stormtroopers over the edge in a mad attempt to save his partner. That's the Wookiee that rips arms out of sockets when they lose, and Chewie's about to lose big. But then Han reasons with him, shouts him down, and there's a brief moment where they're both open-mouthed screaming at each other in the face. In that millisecond, it's a desperate, intimate, intense moment. When Han reasons with him to save his strength, that there'll be another time, Chewbacca listens. We see in the scene Chewie look down at the woman that once called him a walking carpet, and you see that connection there on screen, a connection forged through loss. And then finally, in this scene, when Han is tossed into that carbon freezing chamber, Chewbacca howls the most despondent howl. Sadness, grief, understanding, compassion, all in that one moment. This scene fleshed out Chewbacca's character, dignifying him by letting him run through the stages of grief. He was more than a mascot. He was a hero capable of compassion, reason, heartbreak, and Peter Mayhew conveyed all of this through the swing of his arms and the tilt of his head, saying nothing with words, while saying everything with movement. Far more than that would be required, of course, over the 5 live-action films that featured Mayhew as Han Solo's loyal wingman, gifted mechanic, and hero of the Rebel Alliance, even if he didn't get a medal like Solo or Luke Skywalker at the climax of the first movie. You know, I'm still kind of upset that Chewie didn't get a medal at the end of A New Hope, but like Mayhew himself has stated in many an interview, in the film, he did get the last word. And with that, in tribute to this underrated actor, I'll give him the last word again.